Central constituency, and that is between Ibi Bright of the NDC and also Charles Forsing of the NPP. Sisu tells us that the court made the decision on many reasons, including two which he mentions as one. The person who declared the result was not a returning officer, was not the right person who declared the result, and also the EC collated only 146 out of 148 polling station results. That means that EC did not have the full complement of the results to declare for whoever that won. That was Ibi Bright. And so the court says declaration, collation, and declaration should be done again, and that should be done on or before the 6th of January. We know that on 7th January, there's going to be the swearing-in of the new administration, including MPs, and the courts wants that to be done so that by 7th, there'll be a full complement of who is going to Parliament, as well as the President-elect John Dramani Mahama. My colleague Alfred Okanse is here with me in the studio for more on this. Alfred, what does this mean to all of the conflict or uncertainty we've had since all of these issues started?
Great. So we're back to the status quo, square one, because if you recall what happened at the Electoral Commission's that's Greater Accra Regional Office almost 2 weeks ago when Charles Forsing was declared as MP-elect is the same process that the court is asking that the EC goes back to do. The EC did the collation or recollation in the Tema Central constituency and then now declared Charles Forsing as MP-elect. It was that particular act that Nelson Dafiamenkpo, who is a lawyer for Ibi Bright, was contesting because the court had previously given an order that they should now go back and then do either start from where they left off or start the entire process of recollation. That's what Dafiamenkpo was contesting, that the court was quite clear that instead of the regional officer of the Electoral Commission for Tema indicating that they were going to start off from where they left off, that is just the 2 polling stations that were left, though he would rather they go through the entire process of recollation.
From the top.
That was the contention. Now, with what has happened today, the court is essentially saying that those 2 polling stations that were not collated and added to the original declaration, 146, but there are 148.
So the 2 that were not added to the 146,
to make up the total number of polling stations in the Tema Central constituency. Now, what we're going to see in the coming days, because by January 6th, the court says by January 6th, that collation should have been done for the 2 polling stations and then added to the 146 that was used to declare Ibi Bright as MP-elect. Now, by end of January 6th, we'll get to know, and it is crucial. Why? Because the 9th Parliament will be sworn in on the dawn of January 7th. And so if this declaration for Tema Central is done on January 6th, all things being equal, the Electoral Commission now would have to go through the process of gazetting whoever is declared as the MP-elect after the 2 polling stations are added in Tema Central, for the person to go through the registration process and be sworn in as part of the MPs for the 9th Parliament on the dawn of January 7th. So that's one area to look at as well. But we would have to backtrack to understand why these 2 polling station results were not even added to the 146 that was used to declare Ibi Bright as MP-elect. If you recall, during the elections, in fact, after the 7th of January, after polls closed at 5 p.m., there was some misunderstanding in the Tema Central constituency where the Electoral Commission was attempting to transport some ballot boxes using a private vehicle instead of the official vehicle of the Electoral Commission. So you had the NDC supporters there contesting that particular move by the EC. Eventually, there was some understanding. They got a taxi, and then they transported the boxes because they said they could rather trust the taxi driver, than a private vehicle, which was not even registered for that matter. Now, fast forward, on the 9th of December, we saw some thick crowd of supporters of the NDC who, together with the MPP as well, we understand, who thronged the coalition center. And as a result, the Tema Central returning officer indicated that he cannot declare the results because his life was being threatened or in danger. So it had to take the Tema West constituency returning officer to declare Ebi Bright as MP-elect in the Tema Central constituency. And this was done at the Regional Police Command. Because of the misunderstanding, they moved the entire coalition process to the Regional Police Command. And that is where the Tema West returning officer declared Ebi Bright as MP-elect.
And that is one of the reasons the High Court stated in making their judgment that the rights returning officer did not declare the results in that constituency. And for that matter, they cannot uphold that Ebi Bright won the election.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it is also good to, and that's why I was making the point about how this Tema West constituency returning officer was the one who declared Ebi Bright as MP-elect, because the Tema Central constituency returning officer says, you know what, because of all the things that were happening there and he receiving threats, he was not in the position and right frame of mind to declare. And so he left. We understand he even left the coalition center. The Tema West returning officer was the one then who was called upon to declare based on the 146 constituency, that's the polling station results, Ebi Bright as MP-elect. The two polling station results, according to Nelson Ross in the the contention was that there was some discrepancy with the recording of the results on those two polling stations, that's pink sheets. And so they were contesting that. So they went into court today with the video evidence of the Electoral Commission, the Tema West constituency returning officer declaring Ebi Bright as MP-elect, to the effect that, to that extent that the Electoral Commission, an officer of the commission had declared Ebi Bright as MP-elect, then that must hold, because a declaration has so-called has been made. But then the court is contesting it using the specific reference that you made. And we can now get into the rule book too that the court used, made reference to in reaching this particular ruling. Grace.
Yeah, so Alfred, the court makes a lot of cases or gives us a lot of reasons why they had to order the EC to do a recollation and declaration of the results again for the Tema Central constituency, which means as it stands now, Ebi Bright cannot hold herself as the MP-elect for that constituency. Recollation and declaration will decide whether it is Ebi Bright of the NDC or Charles Forcing, also from the NPP. The court also says that there are some 5 reasons or 5 demands that should be met before that declaration that was done earlier would be upheld. Now, it says prerogative order issued by a court, and the 5 conditions are: shows there is a duty, was there a duty performed to the nation, must be of a public nature, and demonstrate demand. Was there a demand for that duty to have been performed? Did the EC show refusal to perform that public duty? The mandamus order be granted where applicant demonstrate that he has been prejudiced. And so the EC declared only 146 out of 148 polling stations not having collated, or 148 means first condition has been met. And also the person who declared the result was not a returning officer. That point Alfred and I have been hammering since we got here. And also on demand, was there a demand for that? And this one says the EC didn't deny receiving notice. It didn't deny receiving notice of the coalition that had been made, but inaction of the EC after receiving notice constitute refusal. So the questions on the minds of some people are that, assuming that a person other than the returning officer declared the results of the presidential, would it have been lawful? Imagine if the returning officer of the presidential election, who wasn't Jen Mensah, who is Jen Mensah, did not declare the results of the presidential, would it have been lawful? And also, if the EC declared person A as president after considering 100 out of the 276 constituencies, will it be legal? So these are the arguments that the court put out there, and in reaching the decision that the EC should recollate and then redeclare the results in the Tema Central constituency, meaning that Ebi Bright cannot hold herself as MP-elect for the Tema Central constituency. The EC will have to collate all 148 polling station results and then decide whether it is Ebi Bright of the NDC or it is Charles Forcing from the NPP. But what we have on your screens now are live visuals from the High Court showing how some supporters of the two parties are waiting declaration also from the Ablekuman. We know that that case is also being